Hi there, it's the Trigger, Rich Bontrager. Welcome back to another How to Rock the Virtual Stage, where we are here to help equip you to rock the virtual stage each time you step up better and better. As we talk about here, the virtual stage is on a small platform, and this is a massive global platform. Now, we can reach people 24/7 in a brand new way, in a powerful way, and there's more tools and more tricks that we need to learn as speakers, as leaders, as teachers, as pastors, whatever way you use this stage. There's a lot more that you can bring to your platform. So we're here to help you out. Today, we're going to go globally. We are literally going around the world today because this platform is a global platform. It's a great example of what we get to do now. Founder of Automation Artist, Shantanu Verma, helps speakers launch and build sold-out online courses in less than 16 days. Let me say that again. In less than 16 days. To date, he has helped over 100 experts craft their marketing strategies, launch high-ticket offers, and run profitable online business. It's all virtual. He knows what he's doing. So, hey, let's welcome Shantanu to the virtual stage. Thanks for joining us today. And you are all the way around the world. I am at 10:30 America time in Denver, and you are at 10:30 in India, correct?
Yes, that's correct. And thank you for that wonderful introduction. It made me smile as you were speaking. I really appreciate that.
Hey, no, really appreciate it. Shantanu and I met through another group, one of these online virtual connections, and I heard him speak and talk about this amazing way, a system, a program, a way that he takes people from a dead stop to ramping up in 16 days and creating a pipeline to get more followers, more hits, more clients, and more income potential out of growing a virtual tribe of people. So let's just back up a little bit. How in the world did you get into this? Because you're way ahead of the curve of everyone right now. You are way ahead. What made you do this?
So being an entrepreneur is something I've been passionate about since I was a teenager. 10 years back, I started my first enterprise. And over the last 10 years and the multiple stints I did as an entrepreneur, one thing that stood out for me was going online, and the other was customer acquisition. And the third was that I loved working with people who were themselves experts in their own fields, because I got to work and learn from them so intimately. So a leadership coach would teach me leadership. A meditation coach taught me meditation. So it really aligned with me to work with people at that knowledge frequency and in an online space. So all those things came together in basically me starting the Automation Artist around 2.5 years back. Now, it was a very interesting journey because I didn't start off by doing this. I started off by seeing, I want to become a master of customer acquisition. And I just went on that topsy-turvy ride. I built websites. I ran ads for gyms and chiropractors. I did online course launches. And over a period of time, I found my alignment, which was launching digital products for thought leaders.
So for 2.5 years, you've been way ahead of the curve because now the entire world is trying to figure out how to do this because of the coronavirus.
Yes.
You've heard me say this. You probably said it yourself. The virtual stage is here to stay forever.
Yes.
Going forward, even if we go back live, which we will in some fashion. Do you agree that more of the virtual stage become a big part of thought leaders, speakers, teachers? Is this going to be here forever, do you think?
Absolutely. Because I believe that for a thought leader, there is a medium and there is a message. Now, the medium can be a physical stage. It could be a one-to-one coaching call. It could be meeting someone physically, whatever. The medium doesn't matter anymore. All that more matters is your message. So with the virtual stage coming in, it's almost like messaging being democratized. Now, anyone who has a message which is worthy of being shared and serves people is on an equal platform today. So this is the time where someone who may have considered themselves a smaller player but has a very powerful message can share it in India or share it where you are right now, 12 hours behind me.
No, and that is a huge point to pick out. And thank you, Shanu, for doing that, because there's so many people that won't get the big stages, the big live platforms. They're always going to be the rock star names, people that always get that #1 billing.
Yes.
But I think there's going to be a lot of those mid-sized people that can now rise up, have a new platform. They will get invited to the other platforms, but they can do so much more this way because there's so much more
Yes.
options globally, right?
Yes, exactly. So, like a speaker, for example, may never think about hosting their own event in the physical space, but doing it online is one button and you're live on Zoom with 50 people looking at you, right?
No, that's exactly
So,
it.
you know,
So
so go ahead.
no. So talk about creating content. Because a lot of these speakers, leaders that I work with,
Hmm,
they want to do programs. They want to figure out how to do it. But even me,
okay.
I'm not a great writer. I'm a speaker.
Hmm,
But this platform
okay.
allows us to speak and
Hmm,
create in unique ways. So tell us
hmm,
how you've worked with people that maybe kind of like me who
okay.
are written challenge.
Okay. So let's first define what is valuable content. Okay, because there are two levels of value in my opinion. Level number one is the level of information. You're basically giving people information which is considered as value. So that's where a lot of people play, like 5 ways to look better on Zoom. That's information, right? But what you need to understand is the top 1 or 2 or 3%, they play at the second level of value, which is reframing false beliefs and giving insights to your audience. That second level of value is where you find people who buy, who engage, and who come with you on that journey. And the way to create that type of content is to understand three parameters. Parameter number one is what is the result people want? Okay. Parameter number two is what is the existing method they are using to get that result? That existing method has an element of pain or dissonance or frustration. There's something not right with the old method. And then you bring in your new method, which by virtue of being very powerful, automatically reframes their beliefs and what they think they should be doing. So your new method is the core of what you do as a thought leader.
So
Like
it's
you
not like everything I've done in the past is wrong or bad. You're just taking it, and the big word right now is pivot. You are pivoting what they've
yes.
already got going and telling them, coaching them how to bring it more virtual, more alive in a new way, right?
Yes, like one analogy I use, it may be a little cheesy, but it's an analogy which really explains this. Is that your customer standing in front of a 1,000-foot wall. Now you have people surrounding him, saying, "I'll throw you a rope from top. I'll give you shoes you can climb the wall with. I'll give you a jet backpack." Right? That's the first level of value. Right? They call like slight improvements over the other here and there. The guy who takes the sale, so to say, is the one who says, let's take a step back. This 1,000-foot wall is actually just 100 feet wide. I'll teach you how to walk 50 steps to the right, go to the other side, and if you come with me, I'll give you a bonus. I'll have a chauffeur-driven car waiting to drop you home, right? So you need to understand the frame of the journey your prospect or lead or customer is on, and how you take them from their traffic jam, put them into a flyover, so they can get there faster, easier, better, stronger. That differentiation is what people need to realize before they actually go create content.
That's incredible. That's a great analogy. I love that. I may steal that. so, so now you do this in 16 days. Like I read a quote here.
Yes.
Some of your information is within a few days, we went from nothing to operating a
Hmm,
pipeline,
hmm,
completed evergreen webinars, which are
hmm.
virtual forever, and
Yes.
generating leads. You do that in
Hmm.
16 days with people that are trying to do stuff, and then you help
Yes.
them tweak it, modify it. Can you kind of give us a sample of how do you do that in 16 days?
Sure. See, it's very easy to do this. So basically a three-step model that I follow. Okay. Now at its purest form, the model is as follows. There may be variations depending on where you are right now, but at its purest form, you ask people what they want. The people tell you, I want, these are my 5 problems. I've tried this, it hasn't worked for me. This is why this is important to me. So your audience tells you what they will buy if you survey them correctly. Once you survey them, you make a simple offer saying, hey, I'm looking for 10 people who want this result without all of these problems. You make a beta offer, you deliver it live over 3 or 6 weeks or 2 weeks, whatever it is. And the recordings of that and the workbooks of that become your online program. So in 16 days, you've got your messaging dialed in, your curriculum dialed in, you're completely validated that people will actually buy this. And then You sell it, you sell 10 seats or 20 seats, you get $5,000-$10,000 into your bank account. And then you do the long in the creation process, which again, deliver it live, put recordings, and you're good to go. So that is in its essence the fastest way for time to market and validation.
So within 16 days, you can go from questionnaire to starting your first
Yes.
content.
Yes, absolutely. Like the process I've shared with you, actually, like for people who have an existing audience, for people who have an email list ready to go, this can happen in less than 10 days. Because we do 4 days applications, 4-day launch, boom, and you've got your course sold out. I say 16 days. I altered it because some people don't have that email list. Some people don't have that big following, but that doesn't make a difference. LinkedIn today is the easiest way you can build a following. You just see who your audience is and you just start connecting with them.
I was going to ask you, where's the best fishing pond? And LinkedIn right now
Yes.
for professionals, even I've learned
Yes.
that. I did not use it as much as I have in the last year and a half. For
Yes.
professionals, if you go after similar common people and
Mm.
grow your tribe and grow your group,
Yes.
it's the most powerful tool out there. It really is, right?
Absolutely. But where people misuse LinkedIn is as follows. Number one is I don't believe in any form of automation or any form of following up with those, hey, I'm happy to connect with you. Here's my webinar. Here's my guide. Here's my YouTube channel, right? It's very putting off because, see, fundamentally, human beings want to build relationships, and a buying decision is a byproduct of that relationship, not the other way around. So that's one thing people do wrong. The second thing is that when someone connects with you, you need to position yourself very well. So two mistakes I see people doing is like in their headline, in their description, they stuff it with keywords, but don't lead with the result. So you're an executive coach, you're a leadership coach, you're a performance strategist, you're all of those things that thousands of other people are in your own region, actually. So one is leading with the result. And the second is that the content you create, again, cannot be 5 ways to do something. It has to go to the second level of beliefs and insights, where people will see your content and they'll message you saying, hey, can we talk? Can I work with you? So that's how I coach my clients to get inbound inquiries, because they're easier to close because the prospect is raising his hand to work with you. You aren't running after the prospect.
Well, and I find that to be very true, especially step one about the relationship
Mm.
side. I went into it
Yes.
thinking these are all professionals, they have full calendars. I'm going to be
Mm.
very professional and just introduce
Yes.
and do the company line. When in
Mm.
fact, on LinkedIn, it's much more of let's get to know each other first with a virtual cup of coffee,
Yes.
talk a little bit. Then we'll
Yes.
go into what do you really do? And I did not
Yes.
realize it, and I'm sure a lot of people don't realize that relationship paves the way for everything else.
Yes, absolutely. Because the human connection is what's fundamental. See, what you provide can be bought anywhere else also. People buy from people who they like, who they have a level of trust, who they have seen consistently show up in the marketplace. So it's about the relationship, not about the offer that frames the sale.
So when I looked at your profile
Mm.
and you do lead with your end result. So if you
Yes.
look at Shantu's profile, he will tell
Mm.
you, I've done this, or here's what I can do for you. It's result
Yes.
oriented. And you're right. Most of them treat LinkedIn kind of like your resume. And then they get
Yes.
to the bottom and they kind of say, well, here's what I've done. You're saying flip it
Yes.
all upside down. Here's what I've done.
Absolutely.
And then tell them who you are.
Yes, absolutely.
So, what are some of the tricks that people can start thinking about? Like, okay, when I'm thinking about reaching out and doing these questionnaires, step one, you're building some
Mm.
sort of a poll, some sort of questionnaires. Do
Okay.
you do that virtually with a video questionnaire? Do you do that with one of
S-
those polls that you
Okay.
type generate? What's the best way to launch that thing?
So the best way to, so there are two things I do. I'll give you both the strategies. Strategy number one is to basically go to Google Forms or Jot Form or Typeform, one of these guys. Put 5 questions and post on LinkedIn saying, hey guys, I'm doing a training on X. X can be influence or high performance, anything, your domain basically. I want to make sure that this training actually solves your problems. Can you answer a few quick questions for me? Post that on your profile. You will get people reaching out to you. You can send it to your email list, and so on and so forth. So there are pockets of audiences who you can reach out to, because at minimum you need 10 to 15 responses to get the ball rolling. The second thing to do on LinkedIn is what I call an announcement video. And using this technique, a client of mine booked 25 calls with people who want to work with him just by making an announcement. Because see, people wait for the perfect moment to arrive, but the perfect moment is this moment and the next one after that. So what I make my clients do is I make them announce that, hey, I have decided to help this specific audience achieve this specific result. This is very important to me because, and then they go into a story of why this result is important to them. And then they say, to make this happen, I'm setting up 15-minute speed coaching calls to start a relationship with you and share my expertise with you. And you have people saying yes, 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 yes. And they get booked calls with prospects. It's as simple as that.
Well, that doesn't seem hard. Now we're back to the
Yes.
virtual stage conversation, because
Yes.
so many people are not used to it. They're used to the articles, they're used to the blogs, but the element that you're adding in here, you need the video. You need to show yourself,
Yes.
present yourself on the virtual stage, because of that
Yes.
relationship side. So what can we do to not sound like a salesman when we do that, but sound like we're an expert trying to help you? Because some people just, no matter what they do with the camera, it seems slimy. It doesn't seem comfortable. What are your tips you can give people that may be learning that for the first time?
So see, it's about priming yourself. You need to get into a particular state before you go onto camera. So let's assume you're amazing and smooth on stage, but in the camera you're awkward. That's only because you enter a certain state before you walk up to that stage. You need to create that same state before you go in front of a camera. So you aren't talking to a lens, you're talking to an audience right now.
Yes.
Like this video can reach more people than my biggest stage I've spoken on till now.
Exactly. It really can.
Yes. So
because
it's
right
all about,
now, because you get more playbacks, you get more hits, it's evergreen, what it talks about. But if you're the host, if you're the spokesman, if you don't know what that means and how to pull that off, people are going to look at it and say trash can it. But if you know how to present it on stage, you have the potential to go evergreen.
Yes, absolutely. See, I believe you have 3 seconds to capture someone's attention. The first 3 get you the next 30, the next 30 get you the next 300 in terms of the seconds of consuming your content. So that's why on the LinkedIn profile or on any headline you do, the first 3 seconds, say, okay, that got my attention. If you watch for 30 seconds, in those 30 seconds, I convince myself to drop out or watch for the next 300 seconds.
Now, part of the trick in all of that is that you want to give them enough information to hook them, help them, but you don't want to give everything away. And I know a lot of speakers, their heart of service to help people is so big, they have a hard time stopping.
Yes.
What do you tell them? How do you help them say, throw the hook out, get the bait out there, and stop from giving it all away? How do you help them?
Okay. So let's talk about the mindset behind that first. Speakers think that by giving everything away, they're serving people, but they're actually doing a disservice to people when they do that. It's wrong. And I'll tell you why it's wrong. Because when you give something away for free like that, people don't implement and act on that. But if they actually invest their time, energy, and money working with you more closely and implement that, the results they get are significantly better than just listening to you and saying next. So if you really want to serve people and change their lives, and a buying transaction is critical to that, because that's when they actually implement, not just listen from here and take out from here. Second is, what speakers do is they a webinar's objective is to only inspire belief that the result I want can be achieved easier, faster, better than the method I am using right now. So for example, I would give you a client case study on how a client booked out, let's say 100 calls using using LinkedIn and people reaching out to him. I would give you the steps of how he did it, but I would not go deep into how he did it, right? I'll tell you the what, I tell you the why and the end result, but I don't tell you the how. If you want the how, here's my hand, come join me in my coaching program.
You want to make them hungry. You want to dangle the food
Yes,
in front of them, make them really hungry.
absolutely.
I gotta
Absolutely.
go eat at Shantu's place.
Yes, because if someone's stomach is full, you give them more food, they'll say, no, thank you, I'm full, I don't want more food, you know? So it's as simple as that. You need to, the way to serve your customers is to get them results, not give them information.
What's the hardest part for most people when they reach out to you and they say, wow, this sounds really great? What's the biggest obstacle for most people? Money's always one, but we'll take that one off the table right now.
Yes.
What's the biggest stumbling block of saying, wow, I would like to do it, but what is the big but that people run into usually?
The big, it's that they lack that belief that they can actually run a sustainable online business, because it's very unfamiliar territory for these people. Like, they've been on stage, they've done corporate workshops, they know that space. But suddenly going online, they like it becomes like slightly nervous footing for these people. So getting them to believe that yes, it's possible is the biggest obstacle, because these systems and tactics and strategies is no big deal, honestly. Like, it's just a system, right? But having that belief that, okay, I'm going to do this, I'm going to implement the system, I'm going to solve the problems that come up. That mindset piece is the biggest obstacle, not the execution piece.
So you just said the magic word again, and I just want to make sure we hit that. Everyone should be wanting to solve a problem. You don't want to give the problem away. You want to address the problem, bait the hook, and say, I do have an answer. Come to me.
Yes.
And that's where you need to have your programs, your systems in place to answer the real question, right?
Yes, absolutely. Like if you want to go to this destination with me, then here's a ticket to the plane. And we'll fly there together, right? And so that's where the whole process of sales will take place. When if you do a webinar, right? Then in the end, you do one of two things. You say, okay, now if someone wants to achieve this result, I'd be happy to get on a call with you for 15 minutes, see where you are, where you want to go, what's stopping you. And if I can help you, we'll do a deep dive and I'll possibly invite you to work with me. So
Now,
always do a close.
yeah, always do a close
Hmm.
and leave it open-ended up that they can get a hold of you very easily. Like, now, I've read in your bio, you're very accessible. You like to work one-on-one. This is not a group thing that you do.
Yes.
You do one-on-one client work, right?
Yes.
So when you first hook up with a client, it
Hmm.
may take 16 days to run your program to get the achievement. How much lead time do they have to spend with you before they jump off and start the 16 days? How much coaching in advance do you have?
So one client may say, hey, Shantanu, I want to run a $10,000 mastermind. How do I sell this? Someone else may say, I want to do a virtual summit. How do I sell that? Someone else may say, I just want to launch an online course. This is how you do it, right? So based on where the client wants to go, you work backwards and build all the pieces of that puzzle. So an online course is the most integral piece of the puzzle, because this becomes a place where all your customers go and you answer, solve, or take care of 80% of their problems. And the 20% comes through coaching and high ticket. But 80% of your prospects' issues are solved within your online course. So it gives you from time for money to expertise for money. That's a very important transfer that people have to make.
So now, does this work for almost anybody that wants to go virtual? Or is there a limit? Is it more for speakers? Is it more for thought leaders? Or is this for the gardener shop out there? Does it work
Okay,
universally, or how far does this thing go?
I'll give you an example. It's a fascinating example. So my client runs a company that does training in something called pickleball. Now, pickleball is a sport played in the US
Yes.
by people who are slightly senior. And I did the exact same process for him, gave him an automated webinar we built together. And in a span of 30 days, we put $2,500 into Facebook ads and we made back $25,000. Wow, like a
Wow. Yeah.
10x return on investment, and that too during the Corona time in the last 30 days, right? So the possibilities are endless as long as you have a genuinely good offer and you market that the right way. So for example, in his webinar, we don't say here is how you play pickleball these are the A, B, C, D. We say 5 mistakes stopping you from a 4.0 plus rating. And we go over 5 mistakes and then say, if you want these results, come join my program.
Excellent. So it really does go about anywhere. Anybody can kind of plug into this and really use this.
Yes, like I choose to work with speakers and thought leaders because I identify with them intellectually, but the system works for anyone.
So with our time left, what imparting important tips can you give us? What are some of those things you want to make sure that our people hear? And then of course, how can we get in touch with you? What can you do for people that maybe like their mind is blown right now?
Okay, so first thing is create content that you yourself will consume. That's very important, because if someone else made the same video and you wouldn't watch it, don't make the same video, make a better video. Okay. Second is, don't look for an easy way out. Instead, get better so that the problems don't exist anymore. Those are 2 guiding principles I would part with. Third thing is that I would be happy to open up my calendar and get on speed coaching calls with anyone who's seen this and resonates with the message I've shared today. And if I can help you achieve the results you want online, I'd be happy to have that conversation with you. I'm on LinkedIn. You can just message me and I'll be there waiting.
And again, because you are in India and we're doing stateside, but this goes globally now. You never know where it's going to be. Just keep aware that if you're stateside, it is a whole different time zone over there. So you do have to plan that out a little bit. It's really easy though. Very easy to go hold of Shantanu. Shantanu, thank you very much for your expertise. When we're done with all this, we're going to make sure you have the links to contact him, the calendar to get directly booked up with him, to get in touch with Shantanu will be right in the notes as well. So it's not going to be hard. We will put his LinkedIn contact there, but it's really easy to go Google, to go find. Again, in 16 days, Shantanu, this is incredible. You can take people from nowhere to somewhere. Thank you for sharing your expertise today with us. It's been amazing to hear.
Sure. I really appreciate being on the stage with you.
That's going to do it for this edition of How to Rock the Virtual Stage. I'm the Trigger, Rich Bontrager. Always be liking us, following us. We're on Facebook. We have our private group where this gets posted every week. We'll have a new guest, new expert, always popping up. And of course, if there's any way that we can help you out, please drop me a line directly. I will be willing to coach you, help you, so you can speak, lead, and rock the virtual stage better and better every time. For Shantanu, I'm the Trigger, Rich Bontrager. Have a great day, and we will see you next time.